I'll be back.
Won't you take my hand? Come away with me from this land. Let me give to you all that you have given to me. Fly horizon bound, find the moon behind darkening clouds. Even far apart, know our souls together will be when the storm draws nigh.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them. Julia Roberts carries us onward one last time, for now. Right, because she currently has a show airing right now.
Yeah, good for her.
We'll be back later in the summer with that. But in the meantime, I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me on the line is Dominic Joe.
Dominic Joe.
Joe is, of course, the nickname. Dominic Joe Riley. Joe is in quotations.
None of that is true except for my real name, Riley.
And on the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer, reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. And our sponsor this week is Hardwood Floor. Don't knock it until you sleep on it. All right, Joe, what is our swan song for Julia?
Our swan song is Ben is back.
He did come back. Julia Roberts working on the second film of her trilogy where she plays a mother who has a daughter that is overlooked by a problematic son.
What was the first one?
Wonder.
Oh, yeah. Wow, very recent. How could I forget? Well, I mean, that kid wasn't problematic.
Problematic, yeah. He had a lot of problems, and it required a lot of attention from the mother.
They weren't his problems.
And the daughter's like, hey, I'm here too. And the mother's like, yeah, shut up.
That's why she had her grandma, though.
Her young, hot, dead grandma.
Wow, okay. You're adding adjectives in there I was not expecting. All right. You want a synopsis for Ben is back?
Let's do it.
A drug-addicted teenage boy shows up unexpectedly at his family's home on Christmas Eve. So much there already I want to talk about.
He's a teenager?
Well, yes, he is. Lucas Hedges is a teenager. He's like 19 in this. He's very young.
He does not read young.
Oh, really?
No, the girl reads young.
Yeah, Catherine Newton.
He's not reading like super old. I'm just thinking he's 23.
I'll get you his real age.
Or like 19? I don't call him a teenager then.
Okay, fine. When they were shooting this, he was probably like 21.
Okay, all right, there we go.
All right.
He was 21 Jump Street.
He is born the day before my son in 96.
Not literally one day.
Not literally.
He's not
then
4 years old.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Wait, yeah, my kid's 2.
Yeah, you just said that. You just said that in the pre-show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
I'm a bad friend.
He's 4.
Yeah. The years fly by, Joe. The cat's in the cradle. He has a silver spoon.
Yeah, little man
in the moon. Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, Andy Kaufman.
Man on the Moon.
Oh, with Jim Carrey.
With Jim Carrey and Danny DeVito.
A great Danny DeVito performance. Look at how far we are sidetracked.
Okay, all right. Go on, what were you going to say?
So yeah, Lucas Hedges, love him. He's great. But this was the second movie in 2018 that I saw that fall where a parent is dealing with a drug-addicted child. There was one called Beautiful Boy, starring Steve Carell and Timothée Chalamet.
I've not heard of that. Steve Carell?
Yeah, it's not as good. I like this one way more. Second big thing that I realized when this started was I forgot it was a Christmas movie, and I was like, oh, that's why I gave it 4.5 stars. I love Christmas.
Remember when The Rock was dealing with his drug-addicted son? Well, I guess he was just drug-framed.
Is this Snitch?
Yeah.
Snatch is Brad Pitt.
Snatch was the prequel.
Wow. Wouldn't it be the sequel?
Yeah, I would call it the prequel because it sounds like the past tense of snitch. I snatched that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
we'll look at it like that.
All right, well, we're not going to talk about Steve Carell. We're going to talk about Julia Roberts and this Lucas Hedges and this Christmas movie. You said you were going to eat some crow earlier today, Joe. What are your takes?
Oh, no, I'm talking about our takes when we do our rankings.
Oh, I see.
No, I love this movie. Do you not like it?
I'll worry about that later. I liked it more than I thought I was going to. As we begin,
nice.
And you realize that like it's like a son with a drug addiction that's returned home, and I'm just like, oh, are we getting a Hallmark movie? And there are some Hallmark moments, but you know what I think really helps this movie is this idea that the mother, too, is displaying the drug addict behaviors trying to protect her drug addict son. I think that is a very interesting way to tackle this type of movie that could very well have just been old hat.
Yeah.
I think that was very exciting to do. I think it has a really terrific ending.
Oh, yeah, no. What that was...
Just like Homecoming, it ends at like just the perfect moment, but you probably wouldn't have expected it or thought to end it there at any point.
Takes a breath.
Yep, it's that easy. Go to the credits. There's going to be a lot of messy stuff that happens afterwards, but you did the important stuff, this mother-son relationship. And there's a lot of biting satire here against a world that allows for addictions like these to flourish and like how little we take care of people who have these needs.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Were you paying attention to the credits in this movie?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so stars Lucas Hedges and Julia Roberts, directed and written by Peter Hedges, Lucas Hedges' father.
How long had Lucas Hedges been acting?
Well, he was in The Slap. Do you remember The Slap?
No. Oh, I do. The TV show.
Yeah, the TV show on NBC.
Okay. You know what? I did watch that. I don't know why, but I did watch it. Lucas Hedges, I was not overly impressed with in this film.
Oh, really? Oh, he was
not bad. I've just seen him be good, and this one was like, eh.
Okay, so his first screen credit was in Dan in Real Life. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
Steve Carell with the head on the pancakes poster.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a Peter Hedges movie.
Okay.
You're welcome.
There's a pattern here.
But he's also been in Moonrise Kingdom.
He has? Was he like one of the
he was like a little
classmates?
boy.
Okay.
Yeah. He is in our beloved Labor Day.
Jeez. Glad yeah.
I think he's just like a bit part in that. He's in the Grand Budapest Hotel.
He is?
He is in... Yeah, he's just another bit part.
He's just doing the Wes Anderson tour.
He's in The Slap. He's in 8 episodes. His name's Richie.
It was only 8 episodes,
2015.
so there you go.
He managed to make it into all 8 of them. Was he the kid that gets slapped?
I bet it's impossible to watch that show now.
Oh,
I bet they put that show nowhere. I bet that show just isn't streaming anywhere.
Why, is it that bad?
It just was like, so it was fine. It just was like there and then it was gone and no one cared.
Isn't it like a remake of like another country's show?
I don't know. I know it's based off of a book. I don't know if another country made it first, though.
I feel like I want to say Australia, but I could be wrong. Either way, his real breakout performance was in Manchester by the Sea, where he played Patrick, which I believe he's incredible in.
Yeah.
I remember that performance.
He is good in that.
He's incredible. He's in Lady Bird. He plays her first boyfriend.
Oh, that Jamoke.
Yeah. He had a great 2017. He's in Lady Bird, and then he's in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Plays Francis McDormand's son, I believe. And then he's in Boy Erased. That is a movie about the son of a Baptist preacher unwillingly participates in a church-supported gay conversion program after being forcibly outed to his parents.
Oh, I do know this one. I just didn't see it.
Yeah, that was directed by Joel Edgerton. Then he's in Ben is Back, and he's just in like A24 movie after A24.
Yes.
I'm talking mid-90s, Honey Boy, Waves.
Very good in Waves. Very good in Waves.
Yeah, great. I'm a big fan of Lucas Hedges.
Well, at Waves in particular, I think, and he just is so effortless there. And I'm feeling less of that here. And I wonder if there's maybe like with the father directing, it's not as comfortable perhaps than with a stranger. It kind of hardens the relationship, or maybe it's just party had a harder time getting in, or the script wasn't trying to have that naturalist approach to it. He's not bad. He's not over dramatic. I'm just not buying it all the time. But Julia working overtime in this movie.
Yeah, she's great.
This was a part you could have phoned in or gone with some easy choices, and she's like really giving it. She really cares. I'm impressed. It's a good one to go out on, Julia.
I mean, she's not going out on it. I mean, for us, she is.
Yeah.
She's got that Mahershala Ali movie later on this year, maybe. That's the Sam Esmail one, and then she's got, I believe, a Tom Hanks one coming out.
A Tom Hanks one?
Too. Yeah, not directed by Tom Hanks. It's directed by the director of Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
Oh, Mamma Mia, Here We Go One Last Time?
Maybe.
Maybe Papa Mia.
ABBA did put out a new album, so.
Recently?
Yes, like last year.
The B-52s are going on a farewell tour.
Farewell?
Farewell tour.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm surprised they've been touring in their 70s. It's very impressive.
Yeah, that's crazy. Good for them. Yeah, Julia's really knocking it out of the park in this one. She is screaming at all the right parts. I mean, when she is she's like, she has to go to the mother's house whose
daughter died.
Because of Lucas Hedges. It's like
indirectly, yeah.
Indirectly, because was he the dealer?
No, he was the dealer to that woman in AA. He just was like, "Hey, getting high makes you feel good," and she's like, "Really?" And he's like, "Oh yeah."
Really sad shit here. Just
yeah,
drugs are bad. Yeah, when she's yelling at the doctor, though, where did she see the doctor?
Pharmacist.
Yeah,
the doctor in the mall, the one who prescribed them.
Yep.
Yeah,
prescribed the whole thing, and then she's just like ripping him to shreds.
Yeah. No, they're attacking the doctor. They're attacking the police, who are just like, I don't know what to do. And I really like the attack on the pharmacy where they're like, we do not want to encourage this behavior. And she's like, then stop selling the fucking pills.
Yeah, that's
very reasonable point.
They're not supposed to be that addictive, and they were very addictive.
They were addictive, and they want to give you the pills, but they don't want to give you the thing to help you when you OD over the pills.
Just because he was in a snowboarding accident, right?
Yeah, like that plot device, this nasal syringe plot device works, I think, because one, when she can't get it refilled, I think that is an important critique. So then when she has it at the end and she's trying to use it, the tension's really that we don't know if it's going to work. If she just had one that was there, she would like put it in. This is a movie that could just end very badly. The hallmarkness has gone away.
Yeah, he looks like an actual corpse at the end. Like, she's like blowing air into his mouth, and it just like looks like nothing. He looks like just a body at that point with no life in him. Very, very sad, very tragic. But there's hope at the end. I like this one.
This one worked better than I thought.
I saw this in L.A.
Yeah, you came all the way out here to see this.
Well, not just this, but it was one of the ones I saw. It was just because it was out, and I was like, oh, yeah. And then we found out it was a Christmas movie. I'm like, oh, even better. And then I was like, oh, the subject matter. I had no idea what it was when I went into it. I was like, oh, a Julia Roberts movie with Lucas Hedges? Oh, Ben is back.
Let's bring the whole family. Uh-oh.
I thought he was just like coming home from like a camp or something. No idea.
Oh, he came back all right with a vengeance.
And like the text he sent me, he wasn't gone very long.
It's like 3 minutes and Ben came back. Where's the drama?
Well, I mean,
the drama
he disappears
comes
at the end too. Yeah.
Where'd Ben go? That's the prequel.
Great supporting cast. I liked Courtney Bay Vance as his stepdad.
Yes, 5 seconds where they're like, here's the racial gap in America, and then it's gone. Mm-hmm. It was an important point they brought up where they're like, if he were black, he'd be in jail. And then none of that came back.
And this is also, it's like a strange thing in Julia's career where she was supposed to have that romance with Denzel in The Pelican Brief. And then they kind of like jab it a little bit in Full Frontal.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah,
and then in this, it's just like, it's like normal now. And it's like, finally, we have it taken a little, like some baby steps in the culture.
Yeah, look at how far we've come in 20 years. 20 years. I mean, Green Book's winning Best Picture. Like, we really changed as a country.
I know. It was the year that Green Book won Best Picture. Racism was solved.
We did it.
Can I give you the budget on this? Oof.
The budget, I bet, is $12 million.
Wow. It's so close. You're so close. It was 13.
Ah, it was right there.
This came out on my birthday, December 7th.
It came out in December, so Oscar season. Did it maybe like 70,000 in tickets?
It made $12 million.
Oh, nobody wanted to see this?
Nobody, really?
Was it not on a lot of screens?
I can get that information for you.
You had to come all the way to L.A. to watch it, apparently.
Well, yeah, it was definitely on a limited screens. I remember it played at Lincoln for a little while, but it definitely didn't play in.
I mean, it's no Stuber.
Fucking Stuber. God damn it! I have not thought about that movie.
That wasn't 2018. That was 2019. I'm sorry.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Because I saw that here right when I was looking for apartments and stuff. I should have asked about the theaters before I guessed.
This is so crazy.
What?
Okay, so the domestic box office was only $3 million. The international box office was $8.9 million, which gave it the $12 million worldwide. It did better internationally.
Million?
That's it. Isn't that crazy?
The critique on America's drugs did better outside of America. Where they're all watching, they go, yeah, that fucking country, man.
I can give you DVD sales on this. It made $1 million in DVD sales.
Well, streaming on Hulu, you don't need a DVD.
Yeah. Well, I mean, still, $1 million in DVD sales. That's great.
Why? $3 million? It must have played on like 12 screens, like 100 screens.
So, okay, we got a theater count. 4 opening theaters. So I might have seen it like right when it first opened in LA. And then I guess it maxed out at 598 theaters. Okay,
well, that's less surprising.
It did $80,000 in its opening weekend.
Ooh, well, 4 theaters, though.
This has got stars in it, though. Especially Lucas Hedges, who's like was a rising star at this point.
Don't know.
Anybody who goes to all those A24 movies just like me knows who Lucas Hedges is.
Yeah, and they all went, and they were part of the $80,000. I don't think there's a huge amount of A24 fans in the world.
Yes, I know. A little...
Julia Roberts, though, I think that's unfortunate. I guess we've come a long way from her My Best Friend's Wedding days, though. When's the last romantic comedy she's been in? I know. When's the last one she's been in that wasn't a Mother's Day type movie?
Oh, God. What is a rom-com? Larry Crown?
Yeah, it's been, I don't know, a decade? Almost a decade?
Easily a decade,
And I don't think, was Larry Crown that big of a movie?
No, and it's also not really a rom-com.
Yeah.
It's more of like a Tom Hanks got fired from his job and he's just trying to like...
Yes, that old chestnut of a genre.
Eat, Pray, Love kind of
not really
is a rom-com.
Not really.
I guess at the end?
At the end, she does fall in love. She does have romance. Uh-huh.
Yeah, romance. God, it's Duplicity? Was it 2009? With what is his name? Clive Owen. Yep.
Yeah, I guess that would be it. Right? Rom-com adventure movie.
Yeah, her genre kind of got stolen away from her from younger people that sucked at it.
Yeah.
Like Katherine Heigl.
Oh,
who's terrible at rom-coms.
Hollywood's most beloved pain-in-the-ass actress.
Yeah, and Ashton Kutcher was just not a great leading man for those rom-coms.
Well, rom-coms aren't meant for 40-year-olds anyway, so, it makes sense.
Yeah, but, I mean, you can still do them.
Not in this day and age. They're not TikTok age appropriate. No one cares.
I don't think... Are TikTokers going to movies, though?
I think they see crap movies.
I think they see Spider-Man and they say, I saw the only movie that came out.
They take TikToks of them at the movies.
Good Lord, that is so depressing.
They're like, hashtag Marvel. Wow, 3 Spider-Men? My goodness.
I mean, I like the Spider-Man movie, but I understand that its place is for popcorn, and it's not the only thing that came out. And I don't... We lament movies every week, and it's just getting so dire.
I don't know. I'm less.
Although, if you look at the box office for the last weekend, you got a lot of new movies that don't have any IP shit attached to them, and they're all getting very well reviewed, and they're doing okay.
Listen, I was at a sold-out screening of Inland Empire. I think there's a place for movies still.
Yeah, did you see that in Los Angeles, though?
No.
No.
It was not in
Where'd
LA.
you go?
Not in LA. This one was south. Theater called The Frida.
Oh, okay.
They're going to do a David Lynch month in August. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, or they're like a boutique theater, though, right? They're
yeah.
They're not
it's
like...
got 2 screens.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
It was one showing of Inland Empire at 11 at night, and then the following night it was we're all going to the World's Fair for one showing. And
Which you saw, right?
Which I saw. I reviewed it in Letterboxd.
You recommend it, right? Ooh.
Maybe.
On Saturday, I have plans to watch it with Tanya on Prime because it's actually streaming now. And I'm like, oh.
I will be very interested to know Tanya's reaction to it.
You think I'll like it fine, though?
It's very low to the ground. I think if the movie were 15 minutes longer, you would not like it.
Oh, wow. It's only like 80 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a thin premise.
I have a feeling I know what kind of movie it is. I might tell her I'm just going to watch it by myself. Our time is precious.
She'll be like, what? Did anything happen?
Oh, it's one of the... Okay, I had a feeling it was one of those, but, you know.
There's a lot of promise there. I'll probably steal a lot from that movie at some point.
I love to hear that. Yeah, you saw X, and you seem to be in the middle on it.
Yeah, I was...
Just looking for horror movies. She likes horror movies.
She will not leave this theater going like, what a scary movie that was.
Oh, great. Okay.
That is not happening in this. There's some creepy moments,
Yeah.
but not enough. It's not terribly sustainable.
Yeah, 15 minutes added to this runtime would have been about 100 minutes. All right. Yeah, Ben is back. What else you got for Ben?
Well, I thought the budget was going to be even smaller because we're just hanging out in a house with a handful of actors, and then suddenly we go to the mall. And I go, oh no, that's raised the budget a bit there. Another thing to let me know it was a small budget film. There are 1 million production companies.
Oh, God, yeah. When I started up, like, holy
It took
shit.
forever to get this movie made. It was an impossible task. The doctor that she yells at? Dr. Crane.
Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling, tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
You must have loved it.
Any relation to Frasier? Peter Hedges? Like Stepmom, was this like a passion project? Did the Hedges have a son that went wayward for a bit?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't know if that's something that would be like publicly known, but I can look into that.
Did you do any research? Did this movie change cameras like a third of the way through the movie?
You think it changed
I think the camera shape or the lens type changed. Something happened and light was getting captured very differently around the time that the break-in happens. Is there any information on that, or am I just a crazy person over here?
No, I wish I was paying more attention to that. When Peter Hedges was developing the film, he had no intention of casting his son, Lucas Hedges, in the titular role, and had already created a short list of other actors he was considering. It was Julia Roberts who, after seeing the young Hedges in Manchester by the Sea, insisted he be cast.
Julia Roberts, once again kingmaker on a set.
Oh, so prior to commencing this shoot, Lucas Hedges and Catherine Newton, who played brother and sister in the movie, spent the Thanksgiving holiday as guests at Julia Roberts' home, where Julia entertained 22 guests around the dinner table. It's nice, so they could feel like more of a family.
Yeah, I gotta get on that
really
guest
nice.
list at some point. A Julia Roberts Thanksgiving? My goodness, it must be delightful.
Does that mean they shot this at Christmas time? Like, for real? Is that why this is a Christmas movie?
Yeah, they just happened to backdoor into a Christmas movie.
This is also nuts. Lucas Hedges and Catherine Newton co-starred the year before in Lady Bird and 3 Billboards. This is their before trilogy.
She was in Lady Bird? Was she like Lady Bird's friend or something?
I don't think she's the girl that she, like, Lady Bird tells her, like, I live on the wrong side of the tracks, but she's got to be in somewhere around there, that part. The choice of Christmas Eve was a metaphorical setting of great strength for the movie, but due to the winter atmosphere, the team had to face harsh weather conditions. Producer Teddy Schwartzman remembers having to deal with a cyclonic snowstorm that paralyzed all roads in New York, and they shot this in New York?
Yeah, you didn't see the license plates?
You know, they can put license plates on cars.
Where do you think they would shoot it then, Joe?
I don't know. In
It is
my
a snowy
backyard.
Yeah. Oh, you thought it was a Massachusetts production, did you?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Little the old Massachusetts.
Julia Roberts, who has lived in New York for 18 years, says she has never experienced a winter on the East Coast equivalent to the one that hit the set for this film.
Was that year we did 3 Days, 2 Nights and Still Alice? Was that year they were shooting? Because that was a bad winter. That winter was insane.
Was that 2014 or 2015? Because this is 2018. That would have been...
I think it was 2016.
That still would have been very early for this movie.
I don't think so. A 2-year production cycle?
That's insane for this little tiny movie.
I think it's doable.
Really?
If you're already in production, I don't think editing is the problem. I think getting it off the ground is the problem.
I'm not seeing anything about that.
Listen, what I want to quibble with is not the timeline they could have shot. What I want to quibble with is Christmas is a metaphoric setting. Metaphoric for what? What's the metaphor?
Great strength.
Christmas is a metaphor for great strength? What are you smoking, IMDb?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm seeing nothing about the camera lenses, but I'm going to watch this again now. Probably around Christmas time, and I'm going to get back to you on that.
A feel-good Christmas movie for you and the family?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Christmas setting.
You'll watch Ron Howard's The Grinch, and then you'll pop this one in as a chaser?
You know? You got to come down from all that high from the Grinch. Okay, I like Apollo 13, right? That's the Tom Hanks movie with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, I know the movie.
But is The Grinch Ron Howard's second best movie?
I mean, it doesn't say much for Ron Howard's oeuvre.
That's my point. I've watched a great deal of Ron Howard's filmography, and I even suggested we do him at one point, and you're like, no.
Yeah, we've already got The Rock. I don't need more on top of that.
And that was after I watched Hillbilly Elegy, which is an insane movie. Just insane that exists.
Did Justin Lin drop out of the Fast and Furious movie?
He did, and that was last night when I woke up. I saw that. I'm like, oh, what is happening? And everyone's like making funny jokes. Like, I've already seen Ron Howard is going to direct it, and then I saw the guy. I don't want to butcher his name. The director of Drive My Car, and someone was like, because he's got experience with cars. And I'm like, okay.
Well, then you might as well get the Holy Motors guy at that point.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Then his cars could talk. Vin Diesel talks with his car. It's like Knight Rider.
That'd be great. A lot of people are actually like rumoring that it's going to be Vin Diesel taking over because he's already pretty much the auteur of that series.
Yeah, you don't really... That's not a film that needs a director, you know?
At this point...
Like, it's basically a TV show now. All the actors know what they're doing. You've got a formula you follow. Yeah. A visual design has been set up. You're just there making sure no one gets killed in a stunt.
It's just really weird with the whole Rock falling out thing where he's not coming back for it. And then Justin Lin was really excited to come back for 9. I guess they had a great experience with 9. That's why he was coming back for 10.
Yeah.
And then they were in production. They were on like the second week of production. And then he's just like, I'm stepping away from the project. And it was just like very formal... note that he put out in the press, and I'm like, what is the deal with this? This is so... He's directed like the majority of the series.
Yeah, for as bad as the Rock looked in the feud with Vin Diesel, this second feud does not make Vin Diesel look good either.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're feuding, but it's weird that he would step away from a project that he pretty much has like shepherded all the way through.
Something has gone. Something has happened. Something in development and pre-production occurred, and it just got way worse, and they couldn't get past it.
And can I tell you something? As a fan of this series, that I know that you aren't.
Yes.
Let it die. Just
it's time.
We don't need it. We don't need another one. 9 was better than 8 and the Hobbs and Shaw movie that I fucking despised.
Yeah.
But I only think I really liked it because John Cena was in it, and I don't know if I've never wanted to rewatch it, so I'm like, I got it. I don't know. As a fan of the series too, I like the series. I think it really just needs to go away.
Well, it's done right. This is the last one anyway.
Yeah, but it's going to be split into 2 parts. Your face is what my son does a lot.
Yeah, when you talk about how many Fast and Furious movies there are, Julian's like,
Or like when I ask him to like finish his dinner, or you know, anything that he doesn't want to do. Give his dad a hug, you know.
Yes, this movie does not pass the Bechdel test. Surprise, surprise. Even when the mother and daughter are talking, or the mother and the dead girl's mother, it's always about Lucas Hedges. So that was going to be tough. And Lev reminded me, we forgot last week, Homecoming also fails the Bechdel test.
Every episode?
Yep. There was one episode that came close that I thought had done it, but then here's the scene, is she's talking to the makeup counter lady about makeup. I guess you passed it, but you're talking about makeup instead of men. I don't know if that's much better, but then I realized...
Even when she's talking to her mother?
Nope.
Wow. Sissy Spacek and Julia Roberts can't have a conversation without men involved? That's embarrassing.
Well, I guess there's one where the agent is mentioned only briefly, and it's a lot more about them moving in together, so perhaps that could count. Because the scene's not about a man was just mentioned in passing. But the problem with the makeup lady scene was that the makeup counter lady had no name. So, like, that doesn't actually count.
Yeah. I got a little more information on their shooting. So the project was announced in October 2017, and it began filming in December 5th.
That's a quick turnaround.
2017.
A year. You got it shot and edited and everything in a year.
Well, and less than a year because it premiered at the Toronto Film Festival in September.
In September? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're going Clint Eastwood style.
Yeah. Just crap it out. All right. Anything else on this movie before we go into Young Rock?
Yes, what the Rock is cooking.
Istanbul was Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. Been a long time gone.
All right. right. So this week we get college age Rock again. He goes to his parents and he's like, I want to join the family business.
Wrestling?
Yeah, and the father's like, no. And then eventually he's like, fine, I'll teach you. And he's teaching him the fundamentals. Apparently the big conflict between them is the Rock's dad doesn't like the new flash of wrestling in that era and like misses the substance. And the Rock's like, well, maybe you can have both. And the father's like, no, only substance. And then here are some cringy things that were said.
You mean all this already wasn't cringe?
Yeah, oh yeah, we get some real cringy ones, right? So you were right. A little young Roman Reigns shows up. Apparently he's The Rock's cousin. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
He's the real cousin of The Rock.
And he's like, can you wrestle me? And The Rock is like, the world's not ready for that. A match that big could only be settled in WrestleMania.
Good Lord. So embarrassing.
Yep, that one's not great. And then he says, The Rock's dad's like, I'm not training him. And the mother's like, listen, you've got to do it. Maybe you'll be training the greatest champion there ever was. You don't know until you try.
God damn it.
There's a lot of talk of The Rock being like, the universe was funneling me towards wrestling. We see him watch a clip of some people wrestling. I don't remember the wrestler's name. And then, then the CFL guy calls him back and he's like, hey, I want you back for next year. And he's like, no, I think I'm done with football. I'm going to try wrestling. The Rock apparently cleans when he's stressed. That is a character quirk that came out this week. Is that a thing you've ever heard? No?
No.
All right. There's a brief mention of the European Football League. The earlier one. There's a new one now that Mr. Jeremy and I watch, where the mother's like, there's a team in Hamburg. You love hamburgers. The Hamburg team is who I root for, the Hamburg Sea Devils. Good shout out for them there. There's a joke where Randall Park says that he was in Aquaman 5.
And this is 2032?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we haven't had Aquaman 2 yet. This is 2022. Yeah, sure.
But Aquaman 2 is probably going to come out this year.
It's coming out this...
Yeah.
Oh, no. It got pushed back to next year because of Avatar 2.
Oh, well, that's fair. Don't want to go against that.
They were supposed to come on the same day.
Yeah, oh, jeez. A couple of wrestling people that show up. There's a sumo wrestling guy. Do you remember a sumo wrestling wrestler at all?
Yokozuna?
I don't know what his name was, but he did.
It has to be Yokozuna. There's only like one.
He seemed to be related to a lot of the other wrestlers The Rock grew up with because they were all using the same move, the Samoan drop.
It's either, because there's another wrestler who like did like the sumo thing, but it was like way later. Like that was like in the late 90s. So it has to be Yokozuna.
All right. vekeman is there, but there's also this other guy I'd never heard of, Pat Patterson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's great. He, like, helps build the match. He helps design the matches and the layout, and he's, like, a big trainer, and he was a wrestler.
So he's like the number 2 to Vince McMahon or something? The Rock's dad doesn't want to teach him any moves yet. He only wants to teach him fundamentals. He's been doing it for months. So The Rock's just like, fuck it. I'm calling Pat Patterson. I'm like, Pat, come watch me wrestle. See if I've got something. And so Pat then flies down to Florida, and he watches like a little match between them where The Rock's trying to like sell it, right? That's kind of what the father's been teaching the whole time, how to sell getting hit. And then Pat's just like, keep at it. And then he like walks away. And The Rock's like, okay, but I knew I had something, so I kept at it and blah, blah, blah. And that's the whole thing. And essentially this is a story, I guess. The Rock goes on to the story because Sean Astin has now gone to the rival campaign opponent, stooping for him at a bunch of press tours. And so the team's like, what do we do here? And The Rock's like, well, I've got a story about something like this. And the campaign manager's like, can we not tell the story? We have to decide this now. And he's like, nope, we're going to tell the story. And then at the end of the story, they say, we're going to stay the course. We're going to have nothing at all change from the way the last episode ended. Well, we just had an excuse to tell a story about me when I was learning how to be a wrestler. And that's the episode. The end.
Oh, God. Your recap. So does this... Well, you're already doing that, so I don't have to like do the solo Gaslit recaps. We're gonna do that all together.
Yeah, let's just do that all at once, like we did with Homecoming.
Okay. That sounds better.
Yeah.
Because the fact that you sit and watch 22 minutes of Young Rock is
every week. That
is commitment to this project.
Gaslit, I'm sure, is worth a deeper dive.
Oh, yeah, no, it looks great. I'm very excited. I haven't started it yet.
I don't want to spend too much energy on this. All right, well, so let's take a look back then at our time with Julia. Like, for our last looks, let's talk about Julia in general.
Julia,
Julia and that's a
Julia.
Why didn't we come up with that a while ago?
How did you feel coming into this season, Joe? And how do you feel now?
I hadn't seen a really good portion of her movies, so I had like the slightest idea of like what we were getting. I was like, oh, we're gonna get some rom-coms, we'll get some like Oscar play, and then we'll get like a weird middle period. And there wasn't as much SAG as I was expecting. Like I was like, oh man, some of these are gonna be real bummers, but there's only a few like real stinkers in there. Not too bad of a film. Way better than The Rock's. It was a big come up from The Rock.
Way better.
Yeah. Big swing.
Way better. She had 2 slumps, and they were pretty small, and they were kind of at bookends of her career.
Yep. Yeah, there's like some hidden gems in there too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, we found Full Frontal. That was fun.
Oh,
Let's look at some of your new favorites now.
Yeah, My Best Friend's Wedding, surprisingly good.
I mean, I saw that, and I just didn't know how it held up, like however many years later it was.
Yeah.
But that was a great one to come back to. I'm thinking about Satisfaction. One of the first ones we watched.
Yeah. I think that was the
Liam
first
Neeson.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. You know, it wasn't a good one? Blood Red.
No. Blood Red, not great. Mystic Pizza had some charm to it. Closer,
yeah, Steel
obviously
Magnolias.
very good.
Steel Magnolias was a great, like, fine.
Surprisingly
Only
good
had heard
as well.
about it and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I come in really with a lot of presuppositions that, looking back, were unfair of me to have. Mm-hmm. But they were somewhat built in by the culture of our generation, so I guess I get where they came from, but they were undeserved. And I'd only seen one movie. Out of the 49 we watched for Julia Roberts, I had seen one, and I enjoyed most of them, I would say.
No, you had only seen one of her movies?
One film.
You never saw Erin Brockovich?
Nope. August Osage County, and I saw it despite her being in it.
Even Closer? You never saw Closer?
No, I wish I had seen Closer. Closer was awesome.
The Player?
Oh, I did see The Player. That's true.
That's not really her movie, but we counted it.
Yeah. But that only built into the idea of Julia Roberts just like Hollywood, A-list, making crappy Hollywood rom-coms, the end. She's not in as many romantic comedies as one would expect. It's just the ones she was in were huge. Mm-hmm. She was in some big deal dramas, too. And taking risks on things like Closer or Full Frontal, like, and then, some crappy animated stuff. Her later career, she's still a potent actress. The roles, fortunately, aren't as there for her as much anymore, which is a shame, because she still can bring it, as we saw in this movie. A surprising amount of unintuitive choices made for her as an actress in this film. Very impressed there. Believed it pretty much the whole time. I was glad we did this movie. It worked out this season. It worked out.
It was great.
Yeah, a lot of delights here. So it's been a year, because we had a couple of rock films in here. I looked at the recording. It has been 368 days since we first recorded our Julia Roberts podcast. It just flies by, doesn't it, Joe?
I was remember when we did Satisfaction last year.
Yeah.
I watched it on a laptop because we couldn't find a copy of it.
An unfortunate amount of Julia Roberts were impossible to find. We had to go really deep. 3 movies were just not readily available.
The Woody Allen one?
Oh, then 4, yeah, because Full Frontal you couldn't find either.
Yeah,
4 or
Woody
5
Allen
movies of Julia Roberts, very talented, very well-known actress, just weren't there.
Yeah, you know what was on Amazon, though?
What?
Blood Red. Why?
Yeah. You get Blood Red, but you can't get Satisfaction? What's going on, rights holders? Jesus.
Eric Roberts is like, hey, you can put it on Amazon. That's my movie.
Yeah, interesting for Julia Roberts being in 48 other movies that Eric Roberts never appeared in one of hers again.
Well, I think that was maybe a good design. I mean, it's right.
But he couldn't even get like a bit part. Like Julia Roberts is calling the shots on a bunch of movies, and she can't be like, and then guest number 2 will be my brother.
He could have easily fit in. I think of like 3 movies he could fit in. Like any of the Soderbergh movies.
Yeah.
He could have been like a bit player in the Ocean's movies. He could have been in like one of those game show contestants on
True Confessions
of a Dangerous Mind. Yeah. I mean, he can fit in there.
Or the Paul Giamatti role in My Best Friend's Wedding. You couldn't like throw the bone there.
But Paul Giamatti in that's really good.
Paul Giamatti, delightful, but she couldn't have known that yet.
I really wish Paul Giamatti would just show up in one of the new Sandler movies that's coming out, so we could have him.
We have
go
the
across.
trilogy.
Yeah, because he's in a couple of rock movies.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man.
I don't remember who originally suggested this, if it was you or me or one of our listeners, but or guess, but what a great choice it was. I won't lie, it's not one of our highest rated seasons, but I don't care. I liked it anyway, and I hope posterity will appreciate a lot of these movies too. They are worth a listen. Julia, thanks. Yeah, what a great career you've had, Julia.
And it's keep going.
For A-list Hollywood royalty, I think you're somewhat underrated, Julia.
I believe so, too. I'm really happy we went through this whole thing.
I hope you keep making movies. I would certainly cast you in something if I were given the opportunity.
Oh, that would be incredible. Especially after this, you could tell her that you've watched all of her movies.
Julia Roberts, I've watched all your films for a podcast. And she's like, oh, what's the podcast called? And I go, you don't want to hear it. Let's just talk about this movie.
Well, we've kind of steered away from the original idea of it.
Well, I don't think so. There was a what the hell happened to this? What the hell happened to this? She got old, and Hollywood stopped calling. That's what happened, and that sucks because she still has it. The Rock's
and she proves it each time that we see her in these older, these movies, like when she's a little older.
Hollywood's calling The Rock every other week, and he never had it.
You know what? He's only a little younger than Julia.
Yeah, unfortunate. We just got to get Adam Sandler.
I think he's like
Julia
6
Roberts
years younger than her.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I know Julia Roberts not current cultural cachet like some of our other actors at the moment, but we appreciate you sticking around and hanging out with us every week. We appreciate you, Lev, for helping put this season together. I know we tried a lot of new tech-heavy things, so thank you for working a little overtime some weeks. Sad, but I'm glad a TV show is going to be coming out in a couple months, so we don't have to wait too long. And then she already has another movie in the works, so don't worry. We'll be doing more Julia in the future. We'll be doing more Rock, of course, and Sandler as we move on to season 4.
Sandler's got 2 coming out.
Yeah.
We got 2 Sands.
We never abandon any of our actors. We always stay current with them, so stay tuned for those. And then, of course, we have our oncoming 138th episode spectacular in a month and a half or so from this point. So stay tuned for that. We're going to do a pretty fun extravaganza then. A good look back. A few other surprises in there as well. All right, Joe, any last things you want to say to Julia before we do our send-off?
Thank you, and it's been a great journey.
Yeah, Julia, what a pleasure it is to get to know you through your filmography. You seem quite delightful. All right, Joe, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I am your host, Patrick Scale. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com. Now all of our audio-related material on our sister YouTube station, Quixotic Harmonics, and on our Instagram this week at QuixoticUnitedP, and on our Twitter at QuixoticUnited. We'll be putting out the big announcement for Season 4 in a couple days after this releases. All right, thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night.
We can do so much better than this. Swimming in pools of momentary bliss, where you gotta buy the bounty, cause everybody taking everything while you keep on adding. How big you gotta grow? It makes me sick. Doing happy in your skin is where it fits.
Just pulling up my shizness. My shizness? What's a shizness?
It's like a tiny dog.
Explain to me what a shizness is.
It's a small mongrel of East Mongolian descent.
I didn't know you had a prepared statement. Do I sound okay?
You do. You know, in the biblical sense.
Oh. So I don't sound good regularly?
Yeah. No, you don't. I'm sorry. No, of course, Joe. Sound wonderful.
Oh, thank you. That's all I need. Just give me some confidence back.
You sound just like Steely Dan.
Is that good? Who's Steely Dan? Do I like Steely Dan? Wow. Release date, December 5th, 2018. Brackets, Spain.
Well, if there were ever a territory you wanted to start in.
Did you know there's a Miami Film Festival? That must be pretty raucous.
There are like 6,000 film festivals every year, Joe.
Not only is there a Miami Film Festival, there's a Key West Film Festival. Not like they don't have enough going on down there.
Key Lime Pie West, you say?
I've never had key lime pie.
But in another way, aren't we all key lime pie? In a broader sense.
Yeah, I agree. So, you know what's weird or crazy or both? Just going through my Julias, because I was ranking them, and I went through the whole filmography on our Letterboxd.
Yeah.
And there's no Homecoming slot for it, but there is a brand new Gaslit slot.
That's interesting.
one episode is aired of this show that we don't know if it's a series or if it's just a mini series or what it is, but they know the whole runtime apparently. Like, excuse me.
Yeah, I did try to look for Homecoming to leave a review for this week, but yeah, there was nothing there, and I thought, well, makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get like cheeky and put like Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, there was a lot of movies called Homecoming from a lot of
Yeah.
countries. None of them was this TV show.
Well, let's dive into it. I'm tired. And I have to get up in the afternoon to watch my son so Ellie can go horseback riding.
Well, what you've got to do is train your son to watch himself.
He's 2 years old. That is impossible.
It's not impossible. Sounds like you don't want to try very hard.
You don't know how 2-year-olds work yet. You know, he'll watch himself, and he'll also watch himself go to the stove and play with the knobs. He likes to push the chairs over to the counter and grab all the food and throw that everywhere. He likes to rip open the fridge door that is locked.
How do you lock a fridge?
We have a little special like magnet that sticks onto the fridge doors. So there's like this little snap thing. I can send you a picture.
What about when he starts weightlifting? Then he can open any door ever.
I don't know if weightlifting has anything to do with opening a door.
He can overpower the magnets,
he's pretty strong.
Joe.
Well, the magnets are on the top of our fridge door is open in the middle. So there's a fridge on one side and the freezer on the left side.
You're living like a Kennedy over there. My goodness.
I guess so. I hate it. It's so small. It's so much smaller than a regular size fridge or freezer.
Oh.
I mean, maybe more freezer space compared to a regular fridge. I don't like it. And our landlord definitely got it on a discount because it's all banged up on the bottom. And he said he's going to hook up the water and ice cube maker thing. And he didn't do that. And he's like, brought it to us. He's like, it's better than the one you got. And I'm like, that's only because this one's broken. This one sucks. You got it for probably like...
But he's right, though. It would be better.
I'm glad that you're on the side of the man and not the side of your friend.
I'm on the side of Big Fridge.
Yeah, Big Fridge.
Super Bowl champion, The Fridge.
Yeah, he wrestled in the main event of WrestleMania, one of those.
So did I.
You did? You weren't even alive.
What's fancy is those fridges that have the freezer on the bottom. Maybe someday I'll be freezer on the bottom, people.
Yeah,
someday.
It's nice.
That's how I'll know I've made it.
You got ice cubes in there.
Okay, we can go do this. Now that we've had our weekly fridge talk.
Yes, weekly. Wow.
Let's go say goodbye to Miss Roberts.
Oh.